Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to that wonderful show, the NOLA Theater Talk Show, with yours truly, Alan Smason. Again, thank you for coming in tonight. Those of you watching, or perhaps going to be watching later on after the fact, this will be archived on the web's various sites that we have: the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, the theatercriticism.com Facebook page, as well as my own YouTube channel. And again, as far as theatercriticism.com, it's the Facebook page on Facebook, not the theatercriticism.com site that I use for reviews, because that's not going to have it, just the Facebook page. So keep that in mind as well. Again, tonight we have a very interesting show, something that, has long captured my heart, and that is opera. I have always enjoyed opera in all of its many facets, whether it be modern opera, grand opera, verismo opera. I mean, even some of the more ancient types of opera that we see presented from time to time, beyond the Handel and Mozart pieces, back into the 16th century, et cetera, about as far back as you can go with opera. And I've enjoyed all of its many facets. And of course, New Orleans is considered in many ways the first city of opera. Among the first places that opera was heard in North America was right here in New Orleans. And indeed, opera became the favorite place for those in the upper social circles, et cetera, for them to mingle with one another. The idea of a symphony orchestra, a philharmonic orchestra, which was very popular in other cities, was not quite as popular as it was in New Orleans. The opera exceeded that. And places that like New York and Chicago that established major symphony orchestras or metropolitan philharmonic orchestras, that didn't really take place in New Orleans until much later. And when we had the New Orleans Symphony Orchestra, and later on now, of course, the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra. But our guest tonight is Robert Wagner. Robert, of course, is a opera singer in his own right. And of course, as I can see above me and above you, you see the logo there for the Opera Festa Singers. Do you see your logo there?
I do.
Yeah. So again, I'm sort of inventive, and when I can steal somebody's logo and put it up in my show, I try to do that. There are a great many things that this format offers us, aside from the ability for you to be where you are in your rehearsal space, talking to me, and then being able to get back to your rehearsal. I am for the pleasure, conducting the interview from my home, but we have a lot of people who will watch these particular shows on YouTube, et cetera, after the fact. So, this is coming up. It's an event that's going to be starting on Friday, December the 19th, and then continuing on the 20th, and then continuing again on the 21st. And it's all scrolling beneath me. If you can see, that's where you're going to be going: St. Dominic Catholic Church. And then on the 20th, St. Angela. Is it pronounced Marici or Marici?
Well, in Italy, it's Merici, but we say Marici.
It's like Don Amici. Anyway, and then of course, Redeemer Presbyterian Church. Now, is Redeemer Presbyterian Church Ray Canada?
Yes, it is.
Shout out to Ray Canada there. Yes, indeed. So, and I think Ray's involved with the crew of the Rolling Elvi too.
He is,
I understand.
Yeah.
Truth be known, and Ray used to be very involved with my at the time Boy Scout troop, now Scouting America troop, and actually was a minister at a different location further up St. Charles Avenue, closer to Henry Clay. And I had no idea that he was there. Now that I know that, because I love that area, I want to try to get him, shout out to Ray. I'm trying to get you to come on my 10 Commandments hike next year. So we'll deal with that. Let's talk about, first off, the three churches and why you're doing them essentially there. I mean, what was this a group that you already knew people at those particular churches? I mean, how was it that you decided? And then we're going to talk a little bit about Giancarlo Menotti and about the Amahl, the history and what I know, and then you can fill me in on the blanks. But these particular churches, how did you happen to deal with them? How did you happen to approach them?
Well, first of all, St. Dominic's, I work here as the choir director and cantor, and the choir that is doing the Amahl, that is in the Amahl production, is Vox Populi. It's a
Okay.
choir that we started about a year ago. And so we rehearse here in St. Dominic's.
Vox
And
Populi would be Latin for voice of the people.
that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we had auditions for Amahl because the Amahl is the trickiest part to find. And when we
Yes.
had the Amahl auditions right here in St. Dominic's, we found two that were so good. I thought, for all of this work, we might as well find at least two, if not three venues to try and do it multiple times, because it's a lot of work for the chorus, for the soloists and
Sure.
everyone to do it just for a one-shot deal. So
Right. So
we
you said, okay, but now why St. Angela and why Redeemer? Did you know Ray, or who did you reach out to at Redeemer and also St. Angela?
Well, St. Angela, first of all, the music director is one of my students,
That helps.
Kimberly Moladu. She's a fine soprano and also in Vox Populi, but can't be in this production, unfortunately. And then for Ray, the contact to Ray was the Caspar. One of the three kings is also very much involved in the church there. So he recommended that venue.
Not what you know, it's who you know. Always, always, always.
New
Yeah.
Orleans nepotism.
Right. So as you know, we started this particular show back, in 2020 during what was at that time we thought a very short pandemic era, and it turned out to be a lot longer than we had hoped. And at that time, I said, you know what, we need to connect. And I said, let's connect liquidly as well as over the air. And so I had made a pact that we would have some kind of a drink. So I know you've got, what is that, iced tea?
No, it's a humongous sea breeze without alcohol. So it is a virgin sea breeze with a lot of cranberry juice.
Very good. Now I have something which I brought out before. You're not going to know what this is necessarily until I bring it out to you. But this is a nice Balvenie glass for fine alcohol. Like a nice bourbon or scotch or something like that, and it concentrates the aromas up towards the nose. So the idea of that, but this particular bottle, you're going to be very, very surprised to see what this is. This is Critics Hit.
Wow.
Smason Vintage 5784.
Whoa.
If you can't read it. It looks like it's backwards. So maybe I should change it. Anyway, this came from Israel. It actually was grown in Israel. And I have still 1, 2, I think 3.5 bottles to go. I gave one away, and we drank one at my synagogue. So
is it a L'chaim? Is it a scotch or what is it?
It's really a bourbon, but they can't call it bourbon,
right?
Because why? It's been aged for 18 months like regular bourbon, but they can't call it bourbon because it's not been aged in Kentucky.
Yeah,
in the same cask that they would age it in here in this country. And I remember I went to Lexington, and they told me that there are 19 million casks. Is that right? 19 million? No, I think it's 23 million casks of bourbon that are aging in Kentucky, and only 19 million people. So they have more cask of alcohol, than there are people aging.
Hey, I want to give a shout out from Vox Populi. They're all in their costumes here. Can you see them, Alan? Everybody wave.
All right.
I can. Roundabout here.
I can. So you would be the shepherd of this flock here, I guess, huh?
Sort of, yeah. Sort of the
head shepherd.
The ninja shepherd.
All right. So let's get into it. Now, we have some time to talk about it. I mean, and we'll go as long as we need to. And I'll have some pictures, and I actually have a video that you were able to supply as well. But let's start off. I remember as a youngster seeing the black and white NBC production of Amahl and the Night Visitors. It was a video, and they would show it all very often on NBC. It must have been shot, I'm going to guess, somewhere in the late 50s. I don't remember exactly when it was. Okay. And I would say that it probably must have been on NBC for like maybe the next 10 years or so, at least until I was a kid. So tell me a little bit. First off, Giancarlo Menotti was an Italian composer. He came and worked in the United States for many, many decades, never became a United States citizen. People thought he did become a United States citizen, but he never did. He founded the Spoleto Festival in Italy first, and then brought it to, I guess, was that South Carolina?
Yeah.
Where it was? Here in the United States. It was an arts festival it was never called the Menotti Festival, but he
No.
was the face of Spoleto. He was considered, and he also, I think, for a short time, actually took his festival to Australia, but that didn't work out too well. It was gone after a few years, maybe 3 years or so. But
Yeah.
again, Spoleto carried on and has, had a good reputation as an arts festival. I don't know what they're doing now, if they're still intact, with all the cuts to different organizations. You never know who's still extant or not. But
Right.
but he was a driving force. And
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Menotti, because I know of several of the other things. I know that the New Orleans Opera presented The Medium that he had written, and some of his other, I guess, lesser known works, are out there. He wrote like 30 or more operas, right?
He wrote quite a number of operas, most of them chamber operas, huh? He didn't write long operas like Puccini or Verdi.
Yes.
They were one act, and most of them were premiered in Philadelphia. He was on the faculty at Curtis Institute of Music, and when I did my master's up at Curtis, I used to practice sometimes in his room. He was no longer there. He was no longer coming to Philadelphia. But I remember sort of shuddering when I walked into his room and closing the door and plunking on that piano to vocalize and practice. But he did he premiered operas in Philadelphia, Amalia at the Ball.
Yes. No, that was in Italian, right?
Amelia al Ballo, yeah.
Yeah.
But they have both, the English, and so he help the globuling also. But that's also written in German and English as Italian as well. So he does a lot of he's done a lot of small chamber works, nothing too grand. His medium was about the biggest one that he did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the Opera Association, as I said, New Orleans Opera Association did the medium, and I think they did it in a very unusual setting too. I think at the opera, was it the Opera House perhaps, or they did it, or someplace small like that. Maybe it was at the Marigny Opera House. Maybe they did it there.
I was away during that time, but I saw the medium, of course, with the Opera Company of Philadelphia, and Regine Crespin was Baba. It was a fantastic production. Also, Old Maiden the Thief is a great production too.
So, who was anybody of any note that we would recall from the NBC, Amahl and the Night Visit? Who was in that?
The page was none other than Frank Monachino.
Our very own Frank Monachino.
Our very own Frank Monachino made the national early when they were doing operas for television. He was the page in that in that production. That's right.
Thank
Frank
you for letting
Monachino.
me know that. Now I know that little piece of trivia. I had not known that before. Anybody else that that was in the original that you know of, or no?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean,
so the story is basically what we might call the gift of the Magi. It's the three kings who come upon the Christ child in the manger, and they extend to the I guess to Mary, Joseph, and the child the gifts of frankincense and myrrh and gold, etc.
Exactly. However, in this production, in the show, they sort of make a stop off during the night. They're tired, and they stop off at this Bedouin woman's house, the shepherd's house. She's a widow, and her son Amahl is crippled. And so the three kings come upon this little village and this house, and they camp out there for the night. And all of the neighboring shepherds who we have here, say hi shepherds, all of the shepherds are called by the mother to come bring different fruits and dates and nuts to off as an offering for the kings. And so during the night, of course, spoiler alert, there's a miracle that happens, and Amahl is cured. And they all decide, the three kings, that they should take the young boy with them and with his crutch, because he wants to offer his crutch as a gift to the Christ child. And so they put him on a camel and take him to Bethlehem and promise to bring him back to his mother. So that's basically it.
Yeah. And it's not that long. It's like you said, it's a chamber opera. It's
under 60 minutes.
Yeah. So and again, so you're looking at a piece that can easily be performed in a church too, because it's not a whole lot of scenic design that you need to have for this. You essentially have two scenes essentially. Is that right?
It's one scene. It's only one
Okay.
scene.
So
Mhm.
so it's one set then. So again, I want everybody to know once again that the initial and all of these are at 7:30. Are they except maybe the Sunday night the Sunday performance is at what in the afternoon at 4 or something?
Actually, it's 7:30 for the 19th, 7 p.m. for St.
Oh, that's
Andrew and
correct. Yeah,
Risi,
that's
7
right.
p.m. because they don't like to go out so late, and then 4 p.m. is the
4 p.m.
matinee uptown.
Okay.
Yeah,
So 4
yeah,
p.m. for Redeemer Presbyterian,
correct,
7:30 for St. Dominic's, which is the first night, and then the second night is gonna be 7 p.m. So
exactly.
okay, gotcha. So again, anybody have any questions? Now, we do have occasionally we do have some people uh will call us. Um basically sometimes we get some of these people on this stream here will have some things that are not worth having me put up, and in this particular case I just removed somebody who was trying to say some things that probably weren't appropriate for this particular conversation. So
Oops.
that I took care of that. That's not a problem. And again, those sorts of things happen. You can't do anything about it other than to go with the flow. And
Yeah,
and when it's time to remove them, you just remove them, right?
that's it.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on. This particular version, is there anything special about this version that's different from any others? I mean, is this like the full version? Is it condensed in any way, or
Well, normally it's done either with an orchestra, but rarely. It's usually done just with piano. But there's an arrangement by Schirmer for two pianos, and they're playing vastly different parts of the score. So we have two pianos and the arrangement for the double piano, and so that's unique. Certainly, we have minimalist sets, and like I say, it's a road show. So three different shows, three different locations, back to
right?
back.
So
So
I
that's
don't know if
kind of unique.
we've got a few pictures. I'm going to throw a couple of these up from time to time. And again, you and I can both be in the scene if we arrange our headshots a little bit more toward the right or the
Mhm.
left. And yeah, you see if you move the other way, you'll be fine. You have to go the exact. There you go. Keep going. Keep moving. We can see. There you go. So now we can see you in the widescreen. And in the center, I'm not quite sure what they're doing. Who that is? Maybe you can just tell me who that is if you can look at it.
Maria Hefte as the mother. We actually have two mothers, Sarah Mahoney and Maria Hefte. In this particular rehearsal period, Maria was doing it. We have Mia Farrow, I think. It's very small. I think it's Mia. Mia Di Giovanni is doing the Amahl, and he has the crutch, or she, playing the young boy, has the crutch over her head. And we have the three kings. We have Caspar, who is Luke Syrianidis, and we have Richard Hobson as Melchior. Richard Hobson is a veteran singer. He sang at the Metropolitan Opera. He's coming in to do this. And then we also have Alfred Harper doing Balthazar.
Balthazar, yes.
Yeah.
And
And we have
and
Ryan. Let me get the name right. It's a very Irish name. Ryan as the page. I'm drawing a blank on Ryan's last name. He'll kill me. But yeah.
his name is Fitzpatrick, or
He's got
who knows?
he's got three names, two first names, and then yeah.
No problem. And again, I know these were taken. And is that you with you directing there at that point?
I'm on the side, sort of waving my hands around,
Maria,
flailing.
by the way, is an excellent singer. She was
Really is.
great in Cinderella at JPA. At that time, it was JPAS still, but
Mhm.
she did the Fairy Godmother. She's a tremendous singer. I've seen her in a number of productions, so you're very blessed to have her. She really is superb. I mean, if she's listening, I really do believe that she's one of the best out there. Again, are you going to have people who are going to be filling in? You mentioned they had two Amahls, some doing different work. Like, in other words, will one do the Sunday and one do both Saturday and Friday, or how's that going to work?
So we have Mia Di Giovanni and Maria Hefte for the Friday night and the Sunday, and then for the Saturday night performance we have Sarah Mahoney and Cloud Garside. Mia and Cloud are both students at Loyola. So yeah, we have those two different, and they're going to be at all performances. They're covering each other and helping out with technical aspects. So
That
they'll
makes sense.
they'll be in at all three shows. Yeah.
Well, let's see if we got another shot here. Now that must be the three kings there. Who's
Yep.
that on the side besides
Oh.
Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar? And
the page.
And that's the page. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
And let's see.
Of course, the lighting will be different. This is just a rehearsal, so the lighting will be vastly different.
And now you've got. Looks to me like they're in the aisle there. Is that the three?
That's the three kings, and I'm doubling for one. Richard Hobson couldn't make it. We're processing up the aisle. The three kings arrival.
Where are you rehearsing at St. Dominic's?
This is at St. Dominic's. Yeah, that's where we are now.
Okay. All right. And then we got one more long shot. We can see the piano in the foreground.
Yeah.
That's where you probably are a lot, huh?
Well, I'll be all over the place. I'll be the ninja conductor in black conducting because it's a long aisle to get here in St. Dominic's. So I'll be bringing the chorus up, and there'll be children as well. So I'll be sort of moving around. I'll be fluid, Alan.
So is this something that Opera Festa Singers is going to do on a more regular basis? Is this something that you want to do every Christmas, this particular show, or maybe particular other operas that you've got in mind?
Well, we'll have to see. The Opera Festa Singers was formed just as COVID was hitting, and we began singing off the balcony at Dat Dog on Frenchman Street once a month, and to the audience below on the street, they were separated and masked, and brought their ice chests, and were buying hot dogs at Dat Dog. And we were singing arias and musical theater tunes regularly. And we did a lot of different events around the city for J-Pass, at the Deutsches House. So we've been doing a lot of things, let's say, for the past 4 years.
And again, is this your biggest undertaking as far as doing a show?
Most definitely. This is the first full show that Opera Festa Singers is attempting to do.
Yeah. Opera is almost a lost art form. Fewer and fewer people are buying opera nowadays, unfortunately. I've seen the decline, but it is still, to me, as I said earlier, one of the highest art forms that there is out there. The coupling of the human voice with the mechanisms of the modern orchestra, along with the theatrics and set design and costuming. It's not something that you can put together, like, let's put on an opera. It's not something that you just throw together and it comes along without any kind of deep thought and preparation. It really takes a village to do an opera, and it's more and more difficult. A lot of people look to things on Broadway now, like, for instance, Maybe Happy Ending, which has, I think, a total cast of maybe 3 or 4 people. I think actually one double, so it's really 3 people in the entire cast. And the musicians are a very small group of musicians. Now, this won the best musical, so you're talking about an ensemble of maybe 5 or 6 people in the musical ensemble, and 3 people who are doing all the singing. And that's your Broadway show, and they're filling up houses, that way, which is great. But an opera, involves a lot more work than that, I'll say the creative set design for Maybe Happy Ending is something also that needs to be, taken in and appreciated too, because it really is special. But a lot of everything that's done now is done with computers, and you really can't do opera a lot with computers. It's not something that lends itself that way. So anytime, you're putting together all those voices, and putting together all the costumes that are, behind it, and getting everybody, you've got to have supernumeraries sometimes, who are basically just doing parts that enable the action to occur. And they don't really have any function other than to fill up the stage and make it seem like, a scene, at a cafe or out in a village or something like that. So you've got all of that goes into this. So it's really important that you get a lot of support. Where do you get your support from in terms of finances? Do you have a special fund that you go to? Is there somebody who's like, recently the Crescent City Theater Awards that I headed up was very fortunate to have a generous grant given to us by the New Orleans Theater Association. Are there any good people out there who are working with you as well?
Well, the churches are letting us do it for free, which is, thank God for that. We're on a shoestring. I mean, the chorus, as you see behind me, they've made all their own costumes. I've purchased a lot of costumes off of Amazon for the three kings and for the mothers, and the Amahls are putting their own costumes together. So it's sort of a collective, Alan. And but it's taken a lot of work. The Vox Populi here has been working since the beginning of October on this, and the principals, artists, the soloists, they've been working on it since end of October, and had to have it memorized by the end of November. And so we've been in staging with the principals all of December. And this is our first staging rehearsal tonight with the chorus. So there's a lot of moving parts, but I don't have a budget really. It's everything on a shoestring. Unfortunately.
And you're going to be using one or two pianos for this version?
Two pianos. Stephen Edwards, who's the symphony chorus director,
right,
will be playing. And Brandon Banks is also at Loyola. He's going to be playing the second piano, or it's not really first and second, but the other piano. Yeah.
And again, just because I'm not that familiar with it, do they have two pianos at St. Dominic and St. Angela and also Holy Redeemer? They do have two pianos at all those locations?
We're moving. We have two pianos here at St. Dominic's, and we'll be moving in a piano for the other venue. They have one grand piano at each of the other two venues. So we'll be moving.
That's got to be an expense too, right?
Well, there's people that help. We have people that are helping. Jacques Ferland, who does a piano in a truck. He's helping out a lot with piano and piano moving and piano tuning. He's a great guy.
Yes, I saw him over at Paul Moffrey's concerto recitals that he did for the harpsichord a couple of Sundays ago. He's an interesting guy. I put it that way. I mean, anytime you take a grand piano on the back of a truck, I said, what happens if it rains? I mean, New Orleans does have a capacity to have sudden rainstorms. I can't imagine what would happen, but
yeah,
he said
that he's a great piano builder and tuner, and he's a crackerjack on piano.
Well, you can always use them. I had to actually, for the theater awards, I had to actually get somebody to come in and tune the piano for me, to which I was eternally grateful. And like I said, you're depending on the kindness of strangers to help you a lot of times to fill in where you can't afford to have them be paid the full amount that they should be, but you try to, do what you can to make it happen. So again, Robert, I promise I'd only use you for a half an hour, and I think we're getting close to the end of it. So just again, to recap, we're going to have Amahl and the Night Visitors by Giancarlo Menotti at St. Dominic's Catholic Church on Friday, December the 19th. Then it's Saturday, December the 20th. And by the way, that's at 7:30. Then on Saturday, December the 20th at 7 p.m. at St. Angela Marici Church. And then that's in that's in Metairie?
In Metairie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Holy Redeemer, not Holy Redeemer, I'm sorry, Redeemer Presbyterian Church on St. Charles Avenue. I think it's a 7900. Is that right?
It's right on the corner of Broadway, and it used to be. Yeah. We're in the building of St. Charles Baptist.
St. Charles Baptist. So I think it's 7900 St. Charles Avenue. All of those, and if not, it's in the 7000s. But wherever it is, St. Charles and Broadway, you'll be able to see Amahl and the Night Visitors. It's absolutely free and open to the public. We want everybody to make their way over there if you can. And again, I encourage everybody to go, and obviously there will be an opportunity to perhaps leave a donation at the churches they're in the business of collecting anyway, so they know how to do that, right?
Exactly.
So in any event, I want to thank you for being with me.
Thank
Again,
you, Alan.
best of luck in terms of that. We want to say break legs in theater. I'm not sure what we say. Usually I think it's a tui, 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 right? Is
Toy,
that
toy,
right?
toy.
Right.
In
Yeah.
German. Toy, toy,
Yeah.
toy.
All right.
Or
All right.
in Italian, they say in bocca lupo, in the
Yeah.
mouth of the wolf.
And in French, it's merde, I think, something like that.
Merde. Yeah.
Anyway, you all enjoy the time and the experience. This is a great opportunity, and I'm glad that you're introducing this opera to the young people again, because unless they grew up in the 50s, they probably never seen this one before, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Say hi, shepherds.
All right. All right. Tend to the flock, Robert. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for being with me tonight. Again, Alan Smason here with you, and it's been my pleasure to talk with Robert Wagner from Opera Festa Singers. Again, this is NOLA Theater Talk. We're broadcasting on the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, the theatercriticism.com Facebook page, as well as my own YouTube channel. And check out the Amahl and the Night visitors. We want to thank you all for being with us tonight. And again, I will see you at the theater.